Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 5 of my beginner Android development tutorial. Today, instead of making one app, I thought it would be fun to make two really fun apps that are going to allow us to explore a whole bunch of different things we can do with App Inventor. So let's go over and take a look at the two apps we're going to make. Okay, so let's take a look at the apps we're going to make. A weather application, which is going to pull all of this information off of a website, including a webcam, and display it there. Real simple, but as long as it takes me to do this. And actually, I made an app like this while sitting in the lobby waiting for somebody. And whenever I showed it to them, they were absolutely amazed. And we'll show you exactly how easy that is to make. And then after we're done with that, we're going to make a camera application, which is going to display the location for the image. And it's going to display an image. It's going to allow me to take a picture just by clicking on that. It's black because it's on my desk. And we're also going to be able to click on Image Gallery and go to the Image Gallery and pick an image and do all of that very, very quickly. So I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. Okay, so those are the two applications we're going to make, and it is going to be so easy, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to start really exploring how to make utility apps. So for example, let's say you want your device to do something. Well, why not just make it yourself and make it quick and make it easy? So what we're going to do here is we're going to build the weather app first. Very, very simple. I am just going to change the name of the application here to weather instead of screen 1. And of course we can expand on this, and I mentioned that I made an app in somebody's lobby. I actually did do a couple other things. Like for example, I put a little icon that represented the weather and the temperature. We'll get into that later, but I just want to keep these as simple as possible. Okay, so basically what we need here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 labels. So let's get ourselves a label and let's drop it in there. And then we're going to need images. There we're going to put the little maps inside of. So I'm going to just put label. There's the second one. I'm going to put another image. So you can see here, I'll zoom in so maybe you can see a little bit better. There's another label. There's another image. There's another label. There's another image. Okay, so there's 6 of them. Now I want to go and give them good names. So I'm going to select this first, come over here, and text for label. I'm going to call this first one Pittsburgh Map, because that's where I live at. So there's that. And we're going to be able to, no matter where you live in the world, we're going to be able to get maps. I'm going to show you here in a minute where we're going to get all those images from. And then let's say I want to rename this guy, give it something like Pittsburgh Map label, and remember it has to, or it can't have any spaces in it. And then we'll grab this image right here and let's rename that as well. I'm just going to call it Pittsburgh Map Image and hit OK. Don't need to do anything else with that. Select this one right there. Come over here. I'm going to call this US Temperature. There that is. And let's give it a new name. And let's call it US Temp Label. And then select this and come over and rename the image for it. And let's just call it US Temp Image. Select the label again. Let's call this US Wind Chill. And then let's rename it US Wind Chill Label. And we're just going to do that for all of these different guys. There's the image, US Wind Chill Image. Do it for this label, US Radar Label, Image, rename, US Radar Image, US Precipitation Label. Just make sure that you get rid of that space. And then for the image, US Precipitation Image, and then the label. It's good. It takes me longer to do this than it's actually going to take to do the really complicated, cool stuff. And then this is going to be webcam. Rename the label, paste that in there, select the image, and rename that to webcam image. There, we're done with all that. Now we're going to go into the, first before we go, we're going to select these labels one by one. And I'm just going to show you doing this one time. I'm going to click on none, and I'm going to go to gray, change the background to gray. Text color is going to be changed to white. There that is. And then width is going to be fill parent. And you can see right there exactly how that changed. So now what I'm going to do is do that for all the other bars. And let's do it one more time. Background, gray, come down here to text color, white. There that is. And then width is going to be fill parent. And there that is. Okay, and after you do it with all of them, this is exactly what it's going to look like. So now that that's set up, we can go over into blocks. And there we go. And then to set everything up, it's going to be really easy. Basically, all we need to do is go to screen 1, click on that, And we need to say when it is initializing the application, which is right here. Whoops, which is right here. Just drag that right there. Then what we want to do is change all of our pictures. And all our pictures are right here. So we can just click on this and we can say set the picture to, grab this, drop it right there, and then we're going to be able to use either images from off of our device or get images off of the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Wonderground, which provides a ton of images that we can get directly off the web, and it is so easy. Look at all these different maps we have right here. So if I want to copy one of them, real easy, I just right click on it, copy image URL, and then I could go in a text editor, paste that in there, and you're going to see that this is a GIF. Well, you can grab these GIFs directly off the internet that easily. So I went ahead and I got a couple for Pittsburgh, which is where I live. Now I'm going to go into App Inventor again and just put my little quotes in there, paste that in there, hit enter, grab this, drag it up there, and drop it in. And that is all you got to do. And you can just do it for all these images. So click on this. Sorry that it's too easy, but it's just too easy. I mean, that's just the way it is, and that's one of the reasons why I chose to cover App Inventor. So we're going to grab all these different things, and it would be easy to grab temperatures and grab just about anything. But like I said, I want to hold off on that for now because I have a big tutorial plan for that. We're just going to drag and drop those in there. And then of course you could go here and you could look at all the other different things that are available. Storm reports, there you go, there's a whole bunch of them. And like I said, this isn't just for the United States. You can go to Canada, Australia, Europe, Asia. Here, Asia. Take a look at what comes up. Oh, that's the Wonder Map. That thing's not going to work for you quite as well because it's not a GIF. But another thing that's really cool is we could also get webcams. There's webcams all over the world. So if I want to get a webcam from Asia, for example, click on by country. There you go. And let's say that I wanted to get something from, I don't know, I guess there's not a whole lot of options, but here is an image right here. And we can just click on latest image right there, and it's going to automatically update, of course, because whenever this updates, everything on your app is going to update. And again, we can just right click on it and we can just say copy image URL. And if we want to see exactly what that one looks like, paste it in there, and there you go. So that's how easy it is to go and create that map app. Very, very simple and very, very cool. And all I'm going to do is just copy and paste these over here. So we can just do quote anywhere, enter, there's that. Grab another URL. If you can't see, there's double quotes again. Paste that in there, And there you go. Those are all of the URLs. I just copied and pasted them directly inside of there. Piece of cake. Of course, I'm going to have this block and links to all this stuff in regards to where I got the images from under the video in the description. So that was a real easy way to create that application. So now let's go and create the camera app. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to create our camera application. It's going to be a lot more complicated than before, but not really that complicated. Basically, it's going to allow me to take pictures. It's going to allow me to get pictures out of our photo gallery and display them. It is also going to store all the pictures in a tiny database. And it's also going to resize all the components to fit any size of screen or device that we're using. So basically, I know that I need, from the little demonstration I gave you earlier, I'm going to need two labels. So I'm just going to grab these labels and drag them and drop them over here. I'm also going to need a horizontal arrangement. So I'm going to drag that, drop it right there. I'm also going to need to get myself an image that's going to be displayed. There that is. And I'm also going to need two buttons. So just drag and drop those guys in there. And then I'm going to need the camera tool. So let's click that. Camera, there it is. Drag and drop that right there. Actually, this second button, I'm going to get rid of it because I want a button that's going to open up my media library. So that's gone. And that is the image picker. Sorry for that little slip up. So I'm going to grab that and drop that right there. And then the final thing I'm going to need is my little storage, which is going to be my tiny database. Drag and drop that right there. Okay, so I got everything that I need here. Now this is basically just going to say location. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to rename this. Click on rename. Call this location, title, label. That's perfectly fine. And I'm going to come over here and it is just going to display location and nothing else. There that is. So that's all set up. Then I'm going to get this one. This is actually going to display the location for whatever image is showing. So I'm going to rename this guy. Come in here. And we're going to call this one image location label. Click OK. I don't want anything to be displayed, so I'm going to get rid of that. And you can see right there, whenever you don't have any text, it just has that little green box. Then I'm going to make a couple little changes to my horizontal arrangement. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to have it fill parent. Okay, and then I'm going to have its alignment be center. There that is. That's all I'm going to change. Then for my image, I'm going to have its width be fill parent as well. And that's fine. That's all I'm going to do there, and I'm not going to bother changing those names. Then I come to my button right here. This button's going to say take a picture. Scroll down here and type in take a picture. It's going to open up my little camera app. Click on rename, and I'm going to give this guy take picture button. There that is. Okay. And then I have my image picker, which is going to open up my image gallery. So double click on this, and I'm going to say image gallery. Okay. And rename this guy. I'm just going to let it be image picker 1, no problem. Okay, so I have everything set up the way that I want it to be set up. Now what I want to do is go in and have all of the different components fill the screen irregardless to the type of device being used. And to do that, I'm going to go into the blocks. Okay, here I am in the block section. And like I said, I want to have every component automatically resized. Well, anytime you're thinking about component or the device itself, you're probably going to be wanting to go into the screen, and you're going to also want to go into initialize. And that's where we're going to be making all of our changes. Now basically, what do I want to do here? Well, I want to have all the components automatically resized depending upon, in this situation, the height. And one thing that I did forget is I'm going to go into the designer, and I'm going to set my screen and my orientation to be portrait. That way it's going to be locked no matter what they do with the phone. And go back into blocks, and here I am again. Alright, so what do I want to do? I want to change location title label first, and I want to define what the height of the component will be. So I'm going to use a set. So just drag that out of there, drop that inside of there. And then I have to think about how big I want it to be. And also I want it to be the size or the height of it to be in comparison to the total height of whatever device it's currently on. Now previously in the math part here, whenever we clicked on that, we went and we talked about floor, which is right here. Basically, the way floor works is if you give it a number, say it's 2.5, it is going to round down to 2. Well, if we're using ceiling, it's going to round up. If, for example, we give it 2.3, it's going to round up to 3. So I'm going to get the ceiling and drag that over here and drop it inside. Then what I want to do is get a percentage of whatever the screen height is, and then say this component needs to fit in that area. Again, going to be doing some math, so click on the math component. Come down here, going to be doing a multiplication to get a percentage. If I want to get the screen size, I go into screen. Click on that, and then look inside of here for the total height for my screen, and scroll, and you can see there screen 1 height is available. Drag that over, drop it in, and then let's say that we want our component, being that top label that just says location, to take up a small fraction of the total space. Click on math, get ourselves a little number block, drag that over here and drop it in there. And of course I want this to roughly come close to 100 for all of the components. I don't actually want it to be 100. I want it to be a little bit less than 100. So for this first component, since it's going to be taking up almost no space, I'm going to say that it is going to get 0.05. It's going to get 5% of the total height for our screen. Then basically what I'm going to do is the same sort of thing for every other component. So you can just do a duplicate here, drag and drop that right there. Well then, let's say we want to come in and get our image location label. Now the length of the name for the location of the image on our device has a tendency to be a little bit big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to double the size of this. So I'm going to change it to 0.1 or 10% of the total screen size. Then I'm going to have to come over here and I'm going to have to get my image itself. And of course I want the image to take up the majority of the screen size. So we're going to come in here and specifically look for image height, set image height. Go get that. I'm going to click on this and duplicate it, drag and drop that over here. And I'm going to change the total height for our image to be around 0.62. Alright, of course I've thought about this before I jumped in here and did this. And then we have our two buttons. The take picture button, I'm going to change its height. Again, anytime you want to change something, you want to get the set. There that is. And then since both of these are buttons, I can click on this. Or actually, I don't know if it's going to show up. Let's look. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's throw that away. Just because it looks like a button doesn't mean the image picker is a button. So we're going to get this and set the height for the image picker. Drag and drop that there. Go, duplicate this. There it is. Drop it right there. Go, duplicate this, and drop it right there. And I'm going to say that both of the buttons are going to be equal to 10% of the total screen size. So I think that's going to be enough space for everything. And we're going to find out, aren't we? Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to be storing and looking for and using the location for our image over and over and over again. So that means that I should probably create a variable for it, and so I'm going to. So initialize global name to, and the name that I'm going to give this guy is going to be default image. So default image. There that is, and this is just going to store the location for the images that I'm playing with inside the camera app. Then what I want to do, and I'm going to do this still inside of the initialize part whenever the app first starts up, I'm going to go and find out if an image has been stored in the Tiny database. To do that, I'm going to go over to variables again, and I'm going to go specifically to set to, and this is where default image is going to come in. So I'm going to go set to global name. Well, of course, this is going to be default image. There we go. Sorry about that little slip up, and this actually should be nothing, so delete that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, I want to get certain information from the Tiny database if it exists, and I want to store it in the variable name default image. So to do that, I need to go into the Tiny database and see if I can get a value. So right here, get value, and all I have to do is give it a tag. Now the name that sort of sounds like would be a good name to me would be last image used. That's what I'm going to be using inside of here. So I'm actually going to type in last image right like that, and then if it doesn't have a value, or if this isn't stored in the database, it's going to get a default value of nothing. Now what I want to do, let's just get this out of here and drag it up there because it keeps getting in the way. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that a value or an image location was previously stored inside of this before I go and try to gather it. That means I need to do an if then. So I'm going to go into control and click on if then, drag that right there, and then I'm going to go and see what the value of last image inside of our little database is, or if it even exists at all. So to do that, I'm going to click on logic, and then I'm going to get this little guy here that's going to allow me to see if things are equal or not equal. So drag that right there, change this to not equal, and then what I want to do is I want to find out if the value for default image, which is this guy right here, so go into variables again, and this time I'm going to be getting the value of that. See if it called the database and there was something in there, then it would have sent back a path for an image. If, however, there was nothing in there, it's going to do what? Return blank space. So I want to then check to see if this is not equal to a blank space. So in this situation, that means it has a path for our location for our image stored in the database. That means I'm going to be able to use it. One of the things that would be useful to be able to do is to take that image and store it inside of the image in our application. And so to do so, I'm going to say set image picture to, drag, drop that right there. And I'm also going to change the location, because remember at the top of the screen we also show our location. So I'm going to go to image location label and set the text for the image location label. And as you know, I stored the value inside of default image. So I'm going to be able to click on this and duplicate it, paste that right there, and it's going to automatically work in this situation where it wants text or the actual location for the image or the image itself. So just to be clear here I'm changing the picture for our application. Here I am changing the location at the top of the app. So this is text and this is an image. Alright, so everything is set up and initialized. Now I'm going to show you exactly how we would set the image inside of the database whenever they use the image gallery part of our app. Now the image gallery part of our app is called the image picker, so click on that. Then we're going to come up here and say after an image has been picked, come down here, drop that right there. Well, I want to do a couple different things, and I should probably put this stuff in a procedure, but just keep it simple. I'm not going to do that right now. But I am going to click on this and go duplicate, drop that right there. I, however, do not want to use this part right here, so I'm going to drag and drop that out of there. And I'm also going to duplicate this one, drop that right there, and there we go. Now it's very important whenever we are working with the image picker that we get the right image. And that right image is going to be available from Image Picker. And then we're specifically going to look for what image did they select. And you can see right there, there it is. So grab that guy, drag it, drop it right there, and then make a duplicate of that and drag and drop that right there. So that is going to set the image after they go to the gallery on our screen and also change the location of that image. However, we did not solve the problem of putting the value in our database. So come over here, click on TinyDB, and we're going to come up here and we are going to say store value. See, there we go. Just drag it, drop it right there. Then we have to give it a name. Well, guess what the name's going to be? It is going to be last image. That's what we have up here. That's what we're going to be looking for. Grab this, drag it, drop it right there. There's last image. And then what we want to put inside of here is whatever the location was for our image from our image gallery. And there we go. What this is going to allow us to do is click on the image gallery. It's going to update the image on the screen. It is going to put the location for said image on the screen. And then using the keyword last image, it's going to store the location for the image that we previously used or the last image we used in our database. So there we go, got that done. Now all we need to do is make our camera go and open up. And that's easy enough. All we're going to do is whenever they click on Take Picture button, this guy right here, come up here, grab this, drag it out of here. Whenever they click on the Take Picture button, we're going to call for the camera to open. And click on Camera, come up here and go to Take Picture, call Take Picture, method, there that is. And that's all we need to do with that. And then after the image has been taken, we're going to go into the camera again and we're going to look for after picture taken. Grab that, drop it right there. And then we're going to be doing similar things to what we did right here, which is mainly we're going to store our new image. So duplicate that and drag and drop that right there. That's going to be the picture, and duplicate this. Drag this over, drop it right there. However, remember, the selection here is for the image picker for both of these. Can't use that. What we want is the picture that was used from the camera, or the picture that was taken whenever the camera was used. Drag and drop both of those out of there. And if we want to use the image that was taken by the camera, well, it's provided right here. All we have to do is put our mouse over that and get image and get image, and there we go. Then the only other thing we need to do is store that image in our database since we have a new one. And basically we're just using the database here so that if we open the app or close the app, that the image is going to remain. That is the only reason why we're using it. But remember, can't use the image picker selection. That's bad. Drag and drop it over there. And then we go and grab this one, duplicate that, boom, boom, boom. And there we go. There is the whole entire application, actually 2 applications. Of course, I'm going to have a link to all of these blocks here underneath the video. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.